Art is more me, when I'm satisfied, it's not about the next man, what you think about it, you know what I mean? So I think for me, it's not even the message. For me, it's more lay tracks for the next generation. The mural in the street is part of the Cathedral Quarter project. So I was one of those people. We started out with the first project to revamp the area. So I was glad to put my sign, put a little bit touch for the community. My name is Macola. I'm originally from Angola, Southwest Africa, and I'm Irish citizen since 1996. I moved up here. I'm an artist and parent. I have a children looking after. I do mostly mosaics, ceramics.
So, how did you discover your passion for sculpture?
I'm always have that since I was child, but it's more to do with the opportunities and kind of access to do it. But I always been inspired by people already back when I was in Africa as a child. So I see people surround me. They used to do things like sculpting wood, stuff like that. So I always was interested in that until I moved up here, and then I got the chance to train myself uh, in art and craft.
What do you in this art as a medium of expression?
I think for me, it's more to do with the way I look at in my own life, because it's kind of a therapy for me, because art is always um, kind of a build confidence, things I can do. People, not just me, but some other people, they can see in it and then they can appreciate. Like, so it's been good for me. So as a way to express myself, and to be relevant as well as we live in a society, so you can be inspired by what's going around to what's around you, So I always put it in my art.
And how do you describe your style of approach?
I don't really see style, like, but I always referring to mostly techniques, how you can make it easy for me anyway. So I think I'm much more focusing on that, So I always be inspired by or master stuff like that, but I have to do it my way, So I have to do the way and not make it relevant to me.
Okay, can you walk us through your process from idea to a final piece?
It's depend, like if you work in commission, is more kind of somebody imposing ideas or image, So mostly commission is more challenging because you have to satisfy the client and stuff like that. And then you can do things just as myself, just to come to my studio and then just be inspired with my surrounding, and then uh, it's all about ideas, But at the same time, it's just the finished product. The finished product is like if you on the game as you want to to push it forward. So it's meant to have to go to competitions or exhibitions. So you know what I mean. So or you're just doing because it's just about yourself. You know what I mean. So depend, like So as myself, art is more me, when I'm satisfied, it's not about the next man, what you think about it, you know what I mean? So for me, it's always been easy, some pieces it take me 10 hours and some pieces it took me 3 months, so it depends of as well the mood as well, you know what I mean? Because that I say earlier on is more therapy for me. So when I'm in the studio, I'm much more relaxing, I forget about everything, all the worries, So it's always been great experience as a creativity, because we don't really get much credit, when you talk about creativity. So if it's not make money, it's not make sense. So sometimes it's like that, So
Talking about competition, have you ever been in a competition?
not really competition, but it's all, you know what I mean, is everything is related, like, because you have groups and you have you have like people being so called established. I mean, they have money, they have a name behind, you know what I mean? So it's different than you want to upcoming or whatever, you know what I mean? I've been doing this for the last 25 years, you know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? So I'm happy, so far. So I've been exhibit places like in America, in Galway, Cork, a place like that, in Dublin mostly. But you know what I mean. So I'm happy. Is you know what I mean. So that's more important than anything else. So um, everything extra.
All right. So, what materials do you most enjoy working with?
Recently, for last 10 years, I use mostly tiles. So because I'm always involved with the community. So I'm doing community program teaching. So the last 10 years, I'm using tiles because I was lucky enough when I was in Dublin. I met some people, and that's where I got trained in mosaic making. So it's something I really like it. So I kind of really pick it up. But at the same time, I carve wood in my own spare time, and I hang out with a good friend of mine. Is great sculpture. So I do a little bit of marble sculpting as well. So it depends, So I will have a paces I was been learning process. But not ready for the exhibition, but just building up what's say artwork.
Okay. Now, how do you choose the subject or forms that you create?
I'm not really choosing it, but it's just like it's you know because you're an artist, you have to that is to seize the time. So whatever happening now, is all in my artwork. So you can see that, so I don't have to explain it, but when you've been in my exhibition, you can see pieces, and so people relate to that, because it's a visual. I don't have to explain much, so it's more the work, do the talking.
Okay, tell me, what themes or stories are you most drawn to explaining through your sculptures?
I think for me, it's not even the message. For me, it's more lay tracks for the next generation, so people can look into you and say, oh, because I'm reachable, people can, talk to me in the street or stuff like that, so it's easy, you know what I mean? So to do things so they can be inspired, they can do better than me. So that's for me is more lay tracks for the next generation. They can pick it up to be the next great Basquiat, whatever.
And how do opportunities for creating public works usually come to you?
It's not come to me, but it's in the public. He's in public, so he's in the public. So you have to fill the forms and then compete with everybody. So if you're lucky enough to be picked, that's the way it works.
Okay, so what's the story behind one of your art piece that is displayed on the street in Letterkenny?
That was a project. Is all what I say is I'm more involved with the community. So because for me that to say when what you do, people can relate to it, they can respect it, and you know what I mean, especially like you say, public work. So the mural in the street is part of the Cathedral quarter project. So I was one of those people. We started with their first project, to revamp the area. So I was glad to put my sign, put a little bit touch to for the community. My approach, it was more big advertisement. So it's a big sign so people can pass, they can read it. So so that's mostly I did is more, put it out there like kind of like a postcard. People take a picture. Now I see people passing by. So you know what I mean? So it's great. I see my kids pass there. That's my dad, done that. So something be happy about it because you know about the community, so to give you new image.
Okay, I'm asking because most of the time when I pass there, I'm always taking 2 to 3 seconds to admire the art piece. It's very nice.
Thanks.
So now, tell me, in what ways does designing for public space challenge or inspire your creativity compared to private commissions?
To be honest, like I never really done much as a public. I did another one in Melton, in town hall, is in the floor. That's another one. So I only appreciate, because the people is the public. You know what I mean? So it's great advertisements. So, but it's always part of the community. So it's the people. They know you because you're part of the community. They approach you and stuff like that. So it was no feeling from stuff. It was more they knew what I do, so they approached me that way. So it make it more sense, you know. But I don't know. I mean, um, I always make work, you know. I always create, like, you know, because for me, you know, it's kind of keep the flow, you know. So if like I always be ready, like, you know, so if anybody want to approach to have an exhibition, I have a 20, 30 pieces to show. So you know what I mean. So yeah, it's depend, you know. But for me, it never been any challenge, you know. For me, it's been way of living, you know what I mean. So art is always be part of my life, you know.
Yeah,
You
okay.
know.
Now, what impact do you wish your art piece have on the community?
It's very hard to say because you talk a community. What community you talking about? You know, because as a like I live in Letterkenny for the last 15 years, so I'm part of the Letterkenny community. You know, so that's why I did it. That mural in the street.
How has living in Donegal or Letterkenny influenced your artistic vision over time?
It's the pain. Like it's not just the location. You know what I mean? It's like you can say, "Oh, I want to do music," but have to be in London or have to be in New York because it's not. You know, because people still making music where whatever they are, like, you know. So it's not about the location, it's about what you want to do, you know, because you can do whatever you want to do, whatever way you live, you know. But if you can inspire the people surround you, now you have a crew, you know what I mean? So now you have a follower, so it makes sense, you know. So you have to inspire first people close to you, you know, than, you know what I mean?
And what kind of projects would you love to create something for in the future?
I don't know about the future, but I really like to work with the youngster, you know. So because you know I always can see their, you know, the energy they have, you know what I mean. So all they just need the guidance, you know. So if we can, you know, put them in the right track, you know, I'm already be there. So I will give my hand, like, you know. So any projects there, if you know, we talk to community here, right? So
Yeah,
I'm down.
yeah. So, if you had unlimited resources, what kind of sculpture would you dream of creating for Donegal?
But that's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, you can't blame somebody because more money, you make more good stuff, all right? Because you buy more good material, all right? So I even recycle my tiles sometimes, you know what I mean? So because I live in the community, people, they have a tiles in their home, they drop in front of my studio, you know what I mean? So that's not a part of the what I do, you know? But you talk about the big budget, we can do big things, like, you know, so no doubt about it.
Okay, can you pick up one of your art piece and explain us what's the story behind it?
Oh, I have my painting there. It's called Black and the Jacks. That was to do with the Celtic tiger. I don't know if you know about the Celtic tiger. It was the big economic boom in Ireland.
Okay,
So
yeah. I heard about it.
back then, even my local pub, if you go in the toilet, you can see the black person do little business like giving out people tissues and stuff like that. You know, so that's where the painting is based on. Now it's gone, like, you know, you don't see them anymore. But yeah. So it was just the mentality, you know what I mean? Everybody can, you know what I mean? Everything is was the money, everything. So it was
Yeah.
great because it was a lot of young people. First time we get the job. I was young. I came here. I was 21 years old. I got my first job, my first flat, so all that type of stuff. So it was great, you know. All right, that's my neighbor next door.
Oh, he looks like the Mandela.
No, that's my next door. He used to be mayor of Kenny.
Okay.
All right,
All right.
it's Mr. Fisher.
All right. Thank you very much. What's your final words for us?
Um, Good luck to you. I like the projects to be involved with your podcast, and I hope you know you have many years to come. You know, keep up with anytime. So I'm around. So if you need any help, whatever, so you're more than welcome.
So, how can people find you?
I'm in Little Kenny. You can find me. You can find me on Facebook. Yeah.
All right.
All
Thank you
right.
very much.
Thanks so much for having me.